Easy guys, Dom here from CDG. So just a quick video directly from the PS5 giving you a few starter tips for the game DEADSIDE. So if you're new to the game, then hopefully this is just going to give you a few little tips on how to get started within the game. So the most important things that I would point out right at the beginning of the game are probably some of the hidden menus, because this is some of the stuff I think a lot of people are getting stuck with, and not even realizing exist. So the first one I'd say being is your radial wheel or hotbar wheel by pressing left on the directional pad. So I've turned off my hotbar across the bottom of the screen because I don't like it being there, but anything that's in your hotbar, which is stuff along the bottom here, basically, you can actually access by using a quick menu or radial menu by pressing and holding left on the directional pad. But another important one that's hidden, and this is one that will make a big difference to a lot of your gameplay, is pressing right on the directional pad. So in here you've got a number of different options. We'll start with the bottom one because I've got a gun in my hand. So the moment I'm walking around with this gun in my hand, it looks a bit kind of clunky when I'm looking around. What we can do is press and hold right on the directional pad and then just press this bottom option where it shows it's going to put your gun down. And what it basically does is just lowers the stance of your gun. The next one is the earplugs. Got a noisy vehicle coming in. We can just put the earplugs in and it's going to dull down a lot of those high frequencies that we can hear in the audio spectrum, which obviously sounds a lot more muffled now because you've got earplugs in. Can come in real handy if you're trying to talk to someone on the mic and there's a lot of shooting going on, such as when you're doing a mission with friends and they're trying to relay important information about where enemies are, and that can really come in handy. We'll keep those in for a second now while we talk about the others. The next one is the mic. What that one will do is that one will open up your mic and leave it open. At the moment you have to press and hold the middle touchpad of the controller to be able to keep your mic open. And to be honest with you, that is a pain in the backside when you're trying to use your left thumb or your right thumb on the thumbstick to control your character. So you can press and hold right on the directional pad and then choose that to open your mic. This torch option, so there's certain weapons that you can buy that you can put a torch attachment on, or a tactical flashlight, and some of them, when you find them, will have a tactical flashlight option on them as well. So that is how you switch on your torch. So if you're wondering how you switch on your flashlight on your gun, obviously I haven't got a gun that has one yet on this character that we're looking at now, but that's how you switch that tactical flashlight on. And then last but not least, the hood option. So basically the hood icon is if you're not wearing a helmet. I haven't got a helmet on at the moment, so no helmet or hat in the helmet slot. Some jackets allow you to put a hood up, so something like the hunting jacket and the ghillie hood for the ghillie suit allows you to put the hood up, and that's where those options are for that. So pressing up on the directional pad obviously brings you into your inventory, and in here you can also press R1 to get into the crafting menu, and there's loads of different crafting options in here for you to craft lots of different things. Make sure you take the time to read all the descriptions, because that is really going to help you understand what some of these things do. Some of them are intricate to gameplay mechanics, but pressing and holding up on the directional pad will open the map. And in here you can look at all the world events that are going on, find out where the roaming trader is, so you can sell some of those exclusive items for reputation, such as the watches, cigarettes, and they'll also buy dog tags off you for cash. But that is how you get your reputation level up. For any of you wondering what reputation does, when you go to a trader, reputation will level up what sort of things you can buy. So this middle section here with the trader is how you can trade stuff, buy stuff, and you have to press X on each of these options to be able to open the menu. Notice when we go into, say, weapons, some of these things are locked off by this little red R and the number 1 next to it. That means we've got to be at reputation level 1 before we can buy those, reputation 2 before we can buy some of the assault rifles, and so on and so forth. It goes right up to level 4, including things like different types of armor and clothing. You need to increase your reputation level. So the quickest way to increase your reputation level here is to sell scrap metal. And I've seen so many people running past scrap metal and just not picking it up. You'll find this next to vehicles, you'll find it in vehicles, you'll find it in these huge scrap piles that are like rusty heaps of metal. They'll often have a yellow circle around them when you approach them if there's anything inside them. So you have to press square on them to open them up and then take the scrap metal out. Come and sell this to these guys and that'll increase your reputation. But as I said, selling the watches and the cigarettes to the roaming trader will also increase your reputation. So how do you sell something? Something else other people get stuck on, I've seen quite a few people get stuck on, you have to use the sub menu, and I use the sub menu for pretty much everything. So sub menu is pressing R2 on the item, and what it does is it brings up a separate options, list of options. So we want to sell these shotguns we've got off these AIs. We can now use the directional pad to scroll through the options in the little list, but ultimately we want to sell it. So when sell is highlighted here, we can just press X on it to sell it. So R2 to open the sub menu. On the weapon we want to sell. But once we sell the scrap metal, where we can see it's got the little R on it and the little blue strip, this scrap metal will give us 10 reputation. So now in the middle where it says reputation level 0 to next level, I need 90. So I need to find 90 more pieces of scrap metal or a load of cigarettes or a load of watches to sell to the roaming trader. Now when we were looking at the map earlier, we saw the roaming trader. You'll find him with this little $sign on the map. Go off and find him. You'll usually find him sat next to his Humvee with some sandbags around him, and he does move location occasionally, so keep looking for him. A few places where you can farm scrap metal. There is quite a few places that have a few decent piles of scrap metal, but I found the place that has the largest within this area where I am, and there could be loads, is right in the middle of the airfield. There's these derelict buildings that have like these 3 rusty water tanks in the middle of them, and there's quite a few piles there that you can go and explore. There's a few near us. I think there's one down in Krasno near the warehouses where you've got this usually easy mission. There's just one there. There's one along the road as well out of Krasno that goes up towards this little sawmill up here. There might actually be one around here somewhere near Sosnovka, but I can't remember. But that's probably the best place to try and search for scrap metal. But then with the traders, you're probably going to notice that some of these traders won't buy everything off you. Like this guy here is the guy, he's the weapons dealer basically. This guy here will buy and sell weapons and ammo and stuff like that, right? So we can sell weapons to him. At the moment it looks like you can't sell ammo. You can sell ammo to him. You've just got to make sure it's a full stack. So start saving up the ammo you get off the dead AIs you kill, and as soon as you've got a full stack, you'll be able to sell it to him. So you can basically, if you've got more than one stack of ammo in your inventory, you can literally just press the R2 trigger button on the PS5 controller and choose stack all, and what that will do then is stack everything together. Once you've got a full stack, which is either 500 of like regular ammo or 100 of the more powerful ammo like the 7.62 by 5.4s and also the shotgun ammo, and then it should have then a price that you can get for selling it to him. If he doesn't buy something off you, there's no price on it, go to this other guy. There's always 2 traders at the safe zones. And now notice there's prices now on the drill that I found, 2,000. The circular saws, which are only used for basically selling. We can disassemble it into parts, but we don't want to do that right now. We want cash when we're first starting out, and we can sell that to him. And that's pretty much it. We don't want to sell everything to him if it's stuff that we're going to want to use. This guy though, however, I better show you real quick, does sell restoration stuff such as like food, drink and some healing items. Bandages and stuff at the moment I can't buy, they're really expensive. He does sell tools as well, so if you want to start doing some crafting, some base building and stuff like that, then you can buy stuff like that to him. But a real quick heads up, we are in the Sosnovka safe zone here. The best place to go and find stuff to craft medical items is in Krasno. There's probably more of these medical centers, but there's a little medical center here, and basically it spawns a lot of medical items, such as these medicaments. So the medicaments, if you've got a few of these, when you go into the crafting tab and go to medicine, you can then craft painkillers, which are used to heal. But once you've found vodka and tore up a load of rags, you can craft the sterilized rags, and then with the medicaments you can then craft bandages, and you can literally craft yourself a load of bandages for quite cheap. But you know, that's probably the best way, I'd say, to get medical items early on in the game, because as I've said, they're really expensive to buy, and also they're locked at those early levels. One thing I wanted to point out for you though, before you go out into the world and start doing these missions which are listed here, make sure that just before you start a mission and you're really close to the mission location, you craft yourself a sleeping bag. So these are craft from 10 rags, which you just get from just tearing up clothes that you find that you don't want. Okay, now once we've got the sleeping bag, make sure it's in your hotbar along the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're just gonna pop it down. I don't think it's going to let me put it down in the safe zone. Yeah, it's not. But what you can do is you can literally put it down, say near your mission, and what it will do is it will show, as you can see on the map legend on the left hand side, that square box has got all the little icons in it. There's the green sleeping bag, right? So when you die, you've got 10 minutes to get back to your body before you lose all your gear on your body, right? So if you are going to go off and do this mission and you think there's a chance you could die, put the sleeping bag down near it, and then you're going to use that as a spawn point. These sleeping bags last for about 70 hours in game, unless you're on a PvP server, and then obviously other players can destroy your sleeping bags if they find them. So if you're playing a PvP server, try and hide them if you can. Sleeping bag in your base will not degrade as long as you've got the container and you're putting the upkeep items in there to stop your base from degrading. Then your bed or your sleeping bag in your base will not degrade. I'd recommend naming your base sleeping bag base, just purely for the fact then you know where your base is to be able to find your base, because when you build a base you don't get a marker. But you can put down 15 sleeping bags in total in the world at any one time, and then that's just, otherwise you're just going to be using a random, you will be using a random respawn point, and to be honest with you, a random respawn point when you've got 10 minutes to get back to your body is no good. Just remember, when you first put your sleeping bag down, there is a cooldown timer of about 5 minutes before you can actually spawn at it. So yeah, that's what I would recommend, doing that. Alright, so what else can we quickly cover off while we're here? Because I want to try and cover off as much as I can. Storage, very quickly. So, depending on if you've got the supporters edition or not, which I've got, which means I've got extra storage. There's 2 of these safe zones, the main ones. One here down in Sosnovka, and then one up in the north, which is up near Gorky on the coast. Both got separate storage. This is safe storage here on the left hand side that you can see, which I'm just going to put this MP5 into real quick, and the nails that I started trying to stash up ready for crafting, building a base with. This cannot be accessed by anyone else. It cannot be raided in PvP. It's completely secure. So for those of you playing on a PvP server, I've got loads of juicy loot that you just don't want anyone to be able to steal or raid, to whack it in the storage. And as I said, you've got not only all this here to fill, you can then also travel once that's full to the other trader and use the other storage there, which is totally separate. Okay, so ATM. You don't only need to trade with these guys, you can trade at the ATM. So basically, on one of my other characters, I've already maxed the reputation level, and I'm still collecting a load of these turbo cigarettes, and I can't do anything with them. No one will buy them anymore. What I can do is find players that are still leveling up their reputation and just invite them if they want to buy them off me for in-world cash. So when you click on this, basically what you can do is then choose a player's name that's in the lobby, and transfer in-game funds to them. So, you know, potentially you can buy and sell in-game cash with other players for stuff at the ATM here. There will be one in each of the safe zones. That's quite handy too. But anyway, I'd say that's it for this video from DEADSIDE on the PS5. I'll catch you guys on another one. And if you've taken any tips from this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on another video. Thanks for watching.